I think there are two dimensions to it. There is, of course, the dimension where the EU tries to promote democracy in the Eastern neighborhood, but also keeps in mind its own security interests. And then these security interests might inform how and to what extent it pushes for democratic norms and values. And what we've traditionally seen, and what to some extent we may see in the Eastern neighborhood as well, is that when its crucial interests are at stake, it's sometimes willing to overlook certain less democratic developments, or don't push too much for democracy. And one example may be the fact that, for example, vis-a-vis Azerbaijan, given the energy dependence or the energy relationship between Azerbaijan and the European Union, that the EU has not been quite as strong, at least before the recent escalation between Azerbaijan and Armenia, as it would probably otherwise have been. And also vis-a-vis the Azerbaijani political system, it has not been as strong as it may also otherwise have been in advocating more respect for democratic norms and values. But there's also the regional dimension. So when we think about security and democracy, then within countries that are under fundamental existential threats, who are at war, for example, who are attacked, then we might observe that the priorities may change, or that actors in government may use, for example, a conflict, an external threat, to basically avoid both internally but also externally, or demands for more democracy, for more respect for democratic norms, that if democratic reforms are to be made, either because domestic audiences push for it or external actors like the European Union push for it, that they basically manage to avoid that because there is this other thing at stake, right? This big threat at stake. And at the same time, domestic actors as well might start to feel that maybe right now this is the time for strong leadership. This is the time where maybe criticizing the government too much for maybe being too autocratic, or having too little focus on the democratic reforms might occur. So I think these are these two dimensions, both the international dimension and the domestic dimension, and that is something that in REDEMOS, in different work packages, we are looking at.